Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So yesterday we had discussed basics of Bayesian philosophy, Bayesian statistics, Bayesian inference. So today we had also seen one example where prior we saw how prior probability changes when you get some data on it, how the prior distribution gets converted into posterior distribution using Bayes theorem and basics of conditional probability. So today we will see one more example where Bayesian computations can be used. As I said yesterday, yesterday's example was quite simple. I mean, we could do it manually. In today's example, we will actually use R to do the computations. Okay. So let me state the example first. So let me state the example first. Suppose we are trying to analyze number of defectives produced in a certain factory, okay, and the factory manager has his own experience which tells him that number of defectives has to be somewhere between 5% to 15%. He is sure that it is not below 15% and sorry 5% and it is not above 15%. Okay, that much he is almost sure, and he wants to estimate the actual number of defectives after using this knowledge. Okay, so in a particular day, so they decide that okay, they will take a sample produced on a particular day and then they'll try to estimate the proportion of defectives. So on that day, suppose they produced 2500 articles, okay, 2500 objects of one type, and it was found that out of those 2500 objects, 220 objects were defective. Okay, so it was found that 220 objects out of these 2500 objects produced in a day were defective. So of course my usual frequentist estimate for proportion of defects would be 220 divided by 2500. Am I right? So whatever it is, so 22 upon 250. So 22 upon 250. So it will be 8.8%. Correct? So this is going to be around 8.8%. This is our frequentist estimate. And now if we decide we are going to use the knowledge, prior knowledge, domain knowledge, and if we want to change our estimate, how will we do this? So the knowledge that we have is percentage of defectives is between 5% to 15%. Okay, so how to first transform this into prior distribution? That is my first question. So how would you transform this into prior distribution? And there is not like you need not have one single right answer, multiple possibilities are there. So how do you transform this into prior distribution in statistics terms, probabilistic terms? Yes.
Can we consider a distribution having a lower bound as 5% and upper bound as 15%?
Correct, that is my starting point of thinking. We would need some probability distribution which has 5% as perhaps a lower bound and 15% as possibly an upper bound. So what distributions come to your mind? What distributions come to your mind?
Uniform and some truncated distributions.
So first option is uniform between 0.05 to 0.15. Okay. Truncated distributions. What about others? Any other ideas? Yes. Total proportion of defectives can be anywhere between 0 1. Mm, somewhere here I would have 0.2. So right now I am saying somewhere in this range. Correct. Uniform would mean something like this. What about uniform and truncated? Any other ideas? Any non-truncated distributions? And again there are two possibilities. Should we take this as 100% truth, or maybe something like 95% or 99% of the truth? That is another question that could possibly change your answer.
Normal distribution with mean around
Mean would mean around point
mean would be around 10. No, sorry,
point one point one. So normal distribution with mean around point one. Okay, so normal with mean point one and variance. What variance? We need to specify variance also. Yes. Others can also contribute. It doesn't have to be an answer given by a single person.
it should be approximately 0.0002 or around 0.0003.
How did you arrive at this figure?
What I did was I calculated the distance like 0.15 minus 0.05, that is 0.1. This should be my 6 sigma length, and then divide by 6, so I get the sigma and then the square root.
Okay, so basically you are trying to cover almost an entire range within this, correct? 99% of the range within this. Okay. Now, does this give any other ideas? Normal, uniform. Do I have any other choices? Generally, for numbers between 0 1, which distributions do you use? Correct. So, how can I fit beta here without truncation? Without truncation, how can I bring in beta here? Any ideas? And as I said, whatever he did with normal is the key.
We can change your 0 to 1 to 0.5% to 15%. Maybe using transformation.
That is one way, but I mean, that's not a bad option, correct? We can, whatever values we get between 0 and 1, we scale them back to this. So, but it is as good as truncation. Truncation would do more or less the same thing, right? Any other ideas? That's actually not bad option, but anything else? As I said, we don't have to take his knowledge as 100% truth. We can take it as maybe 99% truth. So choose parameters of beta A and B, beta AB, such that if my let me say the proportion of defectives is denoted by theta. So if theta follows beta AB, then probability that theta belongs to 0.05 to 0.15 should be as large as we want, so maybe 99%. So can we choose A and B to make sure that this happens? Can we choose A and B in beta, the parameters of beta, to make sure that this interval which we want has 99% probability, 99% chances? Yes? Does this seem doable? Does this seem feasible? Of course, when I say doable, feasible, it need not be like 100% accurate, but can we reach somewhere near this? So maybe I can say approximately 99%, not precisely. Yes?
Yes, using PDF.
Using CDF, correct. So basically I want to find quantiles, so maybe I will choose AB in such a way that 0.005 0.005th percentile is near 0.05 and 0.99, I should say 0.5th and 99.5th, correct? 99.5th percentile should be near 0.15. So we have to choose A and B such that 0.5th percentile, not 5th, okay? 0.5th percentile is near 0.05 and 99.5th percentile is near 0.15. Can we do that using software? I'm not saying manually, but using software, can we achieve this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And generally, as I said, for proportions, beta turns out to be a better choice. Uniform would assume every value between 5 to 15% equally likely, which seems slightly unrealistic. Normal is not a bad choice, but some people may have objection to normal because normal would still have minus infinity to infinity as an entire range, even though with very 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 low probability, but it will still have. Another possible option, if you want to consider this person's statement as 100% truth, then another possible option is triangular distribution over this range, 0.05 to 0.15. Okay, so 0.05 is somewhere here, 0.15 is somewhere here, so you can have something like this. Okay, and that mode of the triangle can be anywhere. Of course, in unknown situation you would like to take it at 0.1 and then um, equal slopes on both the sides. Okay, so triangular distribution is a good choice. In have you seen triangular distribution somewhere in earlier courses?
Ma'am, yes. Addition of two uniform 0, 1 will.
Correct. Addition of two uniform 0 1 would become triangular over 0 2. So Google triangular distribution, Wikipedia page will give you most of the required details. So triangular is one good choice, but let's go with beta for because it's familiar to everyone. Okay, so suppose I assume this. So now my prior distribution is going to be beta A B, where A and B would be chosen to satisfy this constraint Okay, ABR such that this constraint is satisfied. And then the data that I have is number of defectives observed, that is my data. So number of defectives observed, let me call it say as y, is 220. And then I have to estimate posterior distribution. Okay, posterior distribution. Suppose I don't want to do it theoretically as of now, then what would I do? So if I don't want to do theoretically, then what would I do? Possible values of theta are actually from 0 to 1. Okay, now from this distribution, for every value between 0 to 1, I have the corresponding value of the probability of density. Okay, probability of theta taking that particular value, correct? So can I somehow use that? Posterior distribution will be probability of y equal to 220 given a particular value of theta into the probability of that particular value of theta divided by integral of this same quantity with respect to theta. Am I right?
Yes.
Posterior means theta given y. Those who did not have Bayesian, are you following whatever is happening here? For those who had Bayesian, this is very, very, very trivial. But those who did not have Bayesian, please tell me if you are having any problem here. Prior and posterior. Are you following what is happening? Because this is very important concept. If you understand these things, then only there is a point in going ahead.
Madam, are we using this CDF here in the
Where?
f of theta?
No, PDF. Why CDF? PDF.
Okay.
It is small f. Because we need PMF type of thing if we are in discrete setup. So if we are in continuous setup, we will use PDF. This is small. Is it okay? Others are not speaking. I see there are very few people in the class, but those who are present, 7 people only, I think. So have others left CISM, or are they going to listen to recorded lectures?
Got it, ma'am.
Okay, so now, as I said, ideally we could derive this theoretically, but suppose I don't don't have time to invest and I would like to do it computationally. Then first question is, how do I get this? How do I obtain this value? Probability of y equal to 220 given a particular value of theta. So how do I get chances of 220 defectives out of 2500 defectives for a particular value of theta? How do I get that? This part is coming to this part is beta PDF. Okay, so I don't have to worry about this. But what about this part? How do I get this?
This can be theta I multiplied with total number, like the p that we had calculated. Here the p would be theta, right?
Unknown theta.
Yes.
Hmm.
So the theta I that we have considered in this probability that is given to us. So theta I into total number of objects could be our this probability y.
No, that won't be probability. That would be expected number of defective objects. I want probability. What he's saying would be expected number of defective objects. 2500 into theta I would be expected number of defective objects. But how do you compute probability? Ideally, it's a BSc first year question.
Using that he had from
But that p hat, I have to use this theta. For whichever theta I am computing posterior distribution, that particular theta I have to use. I guess you guys are thinking too much. Think less.
Ma'am, this would be basically a binomial distribution.
Correct. This would be binomial distribution. So if theta is the probability of finding the single defective, then out of 2500, what are the chances of getting 220 defectives? So this would come from binomial with 2500 as n and this particular theta I as success probability. Is it okay? Are you following what is happening here? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
And now, if I don't want to do integration, then integration can be approximated by summation by taking multiple values across this, correct? Like Riemann integral. So I can take multiple values of theta in this interval, and then for every theta I'll compute this, and instead of integration I will do summation of all those numerator values in the denominator for all possible values of theta. Okay, so let me try this in R. So what I have is lower limit, let me call it LL as 0.05. You can see my R screen, right?
Yes, ma'am.
UL as 0.15. So first I have to find A and B such that 0.5th percentile of beta AB is this and 99.5th percentile of beta AB is 0.15. Okay, so again I am not going to use any fancy algorithms. I'll go by brute force method. So I will try various values of A and various values of B. So let me try values of A from, let's say, 0.1, or maybe let me start with 1 to 200, and let me try every value here. Okay, every value in this range. Similarly I will try for B also, and later if I need I will try to refine it further once I get approximate idea of what A and B could be. Okay, so I will try every value for A between 1 to 200 integer value. It could be fractional, I know, but just to get some idea I am trying integer values. I will try every value for B between 1 to 200. So I have to compute some sort of error to make sure that I get what I want. So I will store that error in a matrix form so that I know corresponding to which A and which B this is happening. So matrix n row equal to ns, n col equal to ns. Okay, this is my error matrix, and then for I in 1 to ns, for j in 1 to ns, what I'll do is I will take CDF of beta AB. So my A is going to be ith value from the sequence, B is going to be jth value from the sequence. Then we will compute error as absolute of CDF by of beta. So beta CDF is obtained by which? P beta, right? P beta at 0.05 with parameters A and B. So I want ideally this to be equal to 0.0005. Am I right? Ideally I want CDF at 0.05 to be 0.0005. Is everyone following whatever is happening here?
Yes, ma'am.
This plus similar thing I have to do for 99.5th percentile. So at 0.15 ideally I want this to be, did I write one extra zero over here? It should be this, right? Okay. Is it okay? Whatever is happening here, ijth entry of the error matrix will be, I am taking absolute, I could take square, doesn't really matter. So CDF at 0.05, I am checking how far it is from 0.005 which we want. Then CDF at 0.15, I am checking how far it is from 0.995. If both these quantities are low, then the error would be low. Okay? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So let me try to run this and see if it works. Okay, some issue with the brackets. This bracket, oh, I have an extra bracket over here. Similarly an extra bracket over here. Okay, I should write here matrix of what? Matrix of zeros. Okay, I got something. Let me see if my entries are at least different, because if I get same entries then it would mean I have made some serious mistake. Okay, I have some values which seem to be varying. Later part it is 1 1 1 1 1. So let's see what happens. And I have to find minimum entry, right? So which armat equal to minimum of armat, and I want the positions ith and jth. So array dot indicator equal to true. Okay, it seems 20th row and 196th column. So A equal to 20 and B equal to 196 possibly. So let us try quantiles of that beta. So Q beta, which quantiles we want? 0.005 comma 0.995 with A equal to ASEQ at 20. Sorry, it may not be AB. So ASEQ at 20 as first parameter and BASEQ at 196 as second parameter. Correct? So let me try this. See, can you see it is almost 0.05 and 0.15, the quantiles? Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
So of course, if you want, we can try to make it more precise, means we can search near these values now, but this is good enough for us. 0.049 is good enough for us. So ASEQ at 20 is hopefully 20, correct. BSEQ at 196 must be 196. So our prior distribution now becomes, choice of prior becomes beta with 20 and 196 as my parameters. Okay, this is prior. And now we have to compute posterior. So as I said, we don't want to do integral, we have to do it numerically. So we will try different values of theta. So let me construct a theta sequence as sequence between 0 and 1. Ideally we could restrict to this range also, but I am taking 0, 1, and number of points, let me take 200. We could take 2000, 5000, doesn't matter. So let me take number of points to be 200, and for each of these thetas I will compute the posterior distribution. Okay, and we'll have to scale it by the sum of all the values. Okay, so for NT, let it be 200. So let me call this as NT in case I want to increase the resolution later. So for I in 1 to NT, theta is theta SEQ at I, and we have to compute numerator of the PMF. So sorry, not PMF. In this case actually it will be PMF because we are taking kind of discretized versions of theta. So numerator probabilities is a vector. So posterior probability for the ith value of theta would be numerator of the posterior probability. So it has to come from binomial and then corresponding prior. So binomial will be d binom at, I have to somewhere use the fact that I have 220 defectives out of total 2500 defectives. Okay, so d binom at y observed data with size equal to n, prob equal to this corresponding theta, the point at which I am evaluating this, into prior distribution of this particular theta. So prior will come from d beta at that particular theta with these as my parameters. Is everyone with me so far? I am taking this binomial and this beta. Okay, and once I cannot right now compute denominator because denominator is going to be sum of all these quantities. Okay, so right now we will compute only the numerator. Okay, then denominator is going to be sum of numerator, and my posterior probability distribution is going to be numerator divided by denominator. And let me try to plot it. Okay, can you see it is more or less focused between that range 0.05 to 0.15 as expected?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is my posterior distribution, and now estimate in Bayesian case, generally estimate is taken as either posterior mean, posterior median, or posterior mode. So here I would compute posterior mean. So how do I compute expectation? Actual values into corresponding PMF or PDF. So here I kind of have PMF. So sum of theta SEQ into corresponding probabilities. So post P. See, posterior mean is quite close to the prior mean. Prior mean was 0.088. Posterior mean is 0.08836. Okay. And sorry, not prior mean. Sorry. This is classical estimate. And what is prior mean? What is the mean of beta with this A and this B? What is the formula for mean of beta distribution? What is the formula for mean of beta distribution? Hello?
All A upon A plus B.
A upon A plus B, correct. So I'll have this prior mean, let me compute. So this upon this. A upon A plus B. So prior mean is 0.09. Prior mean is 0.092. Data purely on the basis of data, if I estimate, it is 0.088. Okay, and the posterior estimate is somewhere in between. So posterior estimate is actually a weighted mean of your prior knowledge plus whatever the data set is telling you. Okay, in fact we will see it later in this beta binomial example, or maybe some other simpler example, that you can write posterior mean as some weighted mean of prior mean, and as your data size increases, generally it goes towards the data based estimate. Right now it is kind of in the middle, but as your data increases, it goes towards the data based estimate. And now, can I get confidence interval? Can I get posterior confidence interval from this? So I have some posterior distribution, so perhaps I can use that distribution to get confidence interval. So percentile of that distribution, how would I find percentile of that distribution? Approximate percentiles. If I want 95% confidence interval for my estimate. Yes. Any ideas? Whatever am I doing? Is it making sense? Can this be sorry. Can this be considered as confidence interval? Possibly. Whatever I did. These three commands. What did I do?
And we've calculated the CDF.
I've calculated CDF, correct.
Then we have found out the quantile lesser than 2.5%,
Mm-hmm.
and then 97.5% contact,
Huh,
and
so
that we are considering.
so basically I have tried to get 2.5th and 97.5th percentile of the posterior CDF. Actually it is not exact posterior CDF, it is approximation, because ideally it's a continuous distribution, but I have tried to approximate it via discrete distribution by taking various possible values of theta in that interval 0 to 1. Okay, is it okay? So but this gives me a good enough approximation because the confidence interval also looks sensible. So the earlier range was 0.05 to 0.15, his own knowledge, the manager's own knowledge. And now on the basis of this data we have narrowed that interval to 0.08 to 0.1. Okay, and let us try to see how things change if data changes. So instead of y equal to 220, if I get very large y, okay, so maybe 500 will become 500 will actually go outside his range, right? 500 would mean 20%. But suppose we get defectives 20%, then what happens? See, then my estimate becomes too much pulled towards that. Okay, so the estimate becomes 19%. Okay, if y is somewhere further less. So my data does have a role, even though my prior was saying that I estimate is between 5% to 15%. Because y was too huge, posterior mean turned out to be 19%. Now posterior mean is 11.7%. So as the data changes, the graph also changes, the posterior distribution also changes, and of course if you change prior, then also things are going to change, no doubt about that. Okay, so is it clear? Here I did not do any derivations theoretically, but I just used what could possibly be the distributions and did computations. Okay, so this is power of Bayesian computing. I hope this example has given you more idea into prior posterior business. So today we will stop here, and in the next lecture we'll start with the further part. Is it okay with everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.